Just mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J. Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there. He's punching me in the stomach. Like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Chico can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's doing the team 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Chico can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You're more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
You heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her and I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time
For the show.
I'm late. Like, I don't even know what I'd be doing.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hello. Good evening, and welcome back to Mic'd Up. Today is Monday, April 24th. If anybody's got any allergy medicine, I would love to have it. My eyes are swollen, and they do not feel very good. They're very itchy. And
Damn allergies.
they are the allergies, I can promise you.
He's been having the
They
same
are the
allergies since
allergies.
420.
I mean, it is. I'm hurting. But we're going to battle through the show. Got a great show for you today. Ben McDonald is going to be on here 6:15, so about 11 minutes to recap the weekend. He called the Saturday game of LSU at Ole Miss in Oxford. LSU gets the sweep. They finally got their first sweep of the season. They won their sixth consecutive SEC series. They have 4 left. They had a lot of shakeup in the SEC that we're going to get into that puts LSU right there in the driver's seat to not only win the West, because they are leading the West, not only to win the West, but to win the outright SEC title. They did what they needed to do. So the Sunday game did not look great after the bottom of the 8th inning. Hayden Travinski had something else to say about that. We're going to get into that. Let's go right through the Heineken headlines. Just talked about, obviously, the LSU sweep. LSU football had their spring game this weekend. Lloyd, you were there. 2 Boost Crews in the stadium. I appreciate that.
A little tardy, but whatever.
It's okay.
We got him in there. We got him in there.
See, and you have to know that by the time I had gotten the alerts, they had shut the beer down. So me being me, I packed a little.
Figured it out.
I packed one in reserve, so I had to pull one from the undergarments.
I appreciate
Just in
that.
case.
Yeah, I respect
that move. Yeah, that's good.
Yep, absolutely.
We all
how was the spring game? Spring game was good?
Oh, weather was electric.
Yep, it was a great day.
Great day to be
Great day to be
outside.
out there. Quarterbacks look good. Receivers look good. Obviously, it's a spring game. Very vanilla. You don't really know
got
what
a
you're
little
going to
chippy.
get. Huh?
Got a little chippy.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Yeah.
competitive. They're all competitors. They had some moments we're going to get into. We're going to let you recap it since you were our eyes in the stands, eyes in the sky there at the game.
And the club.
We're going to get into that. 4-star safety Deshaun McBride from Denham Springs, right around the corner. He commits to LSU. 4-star safety. Apparently, the SEC is cracking down on rushing the field. So they are talking about maybe getting rid of a home game. So, like, not only punishing them financially, but saying, hey, if you do this, there's a potential where you lose a home game. Not great. Not good for the fans to not charge the field. Also not good for the school to lose a home game. We'll see what happens.
That's a check. That's
a big check.
Hefty check.
That's a big check. We'll see what happens with that. The Jets and the Packers saga is gone, over with. Aaron Rodgers finally is a New York Jet. Now that firmly puts the New York Jets in the driver's seat, I think, in the AFC. Not driver's seat, but they are immediate Super Bowl contenders based off of the talent they accumulated last year in the draft. All the young draft picks that they hit on. Now they have one of the best quarterbacks of all time distributing the ball to all of those guys. So we're going to see what happens. It's New York. I think it's a great place for him. I think he's happy to get out of Green Bay. New start, new team, a lot of young guys. He can kind of do what he needs to do. I'm all for that. NFL draft is this Thursday. We are going to have our draft preview on Wednesday. I wish we could we can't do it now. Maybe in the future we can have a draft show.
Oh, why can't we do it?
Too late now. You got to prepare for that shit. All the guys that we would have on the show are already doing something else. I say this because Pat McAfee's got the Draft Spectacular, which is one of his biggest shows. And it's great because it's all them. They really don't know what the hell they're doing. They're just doing it. And they're having a good time doing it. But, it's baseball season. They don't talk as much baseball as we do. They talk all NFL. So it's part of the reason why they have it. We are talking baseball. So let's get to the baseball part of it, right? This weekend was a huge weekend for LSU. They needed the sweep. They needed all 3 games. We said you can't go into a weekend expecting to sweep. You need to go into the weekend trying to win the series. If the sweep happens, great, right? LSU wins Friday, wins Saturday. They are winning on Sunday. You're thinking, the sweep's going to happen. And then you see a little hiccup happen in the 7th and the 8th inning. And you're like, well, maybe no sweep. At least you win the series. They end up sneaking that game out. They get 3 wins. They are now 12-5 in conference. Obviously, they lose a game against South Carolina. Arkansas gets swept. Florida gets swept. Vandy gets swept. So Arkansas was ahead of LSU in the West. Now they are behind LSU by 2 games in the loss column. Florida was right there at the top of the conference in the East, and overall they're better than LSU. Now
I think they went into the weekend tied with South Carolina.
Yeah, now they have 7 losses in the conference play. South Carolina is 1 loss ahead of LSU, so they're
a half game.
They are a half game ahead. So where they are have 18 total. No, they have 17. 2. So they are 13-4. LSU is 12-5. So LSU is now second in the SEC as far as win percentages goes. Vanderbilt was 13-2. Now Vanderbilt is 13-5, and Tennessee is moving back up there. Alabama swept, so now Alabama, who is the opponent of LSU this weekend, is 9-9. There's a bunch of shakeup. They're going to last 4 weekends of the SEC with anything is possible for really any team outside of probably the bottom 3. So SEC is kind of doing what everybody anticipated doing. LSU played really well. Paul Skeens did what Paul Skeens does. Ty Floyd was the Ty Floyd that I expected to see throughout the course of the year, which we saw for the majority of the season minus the last 2 starts. And Christian Little going 5 1/3, only giving up 3 runs and only 1 walk, I think is a huge thing and a huge development moving forward, because if you can have your Sunday guy pitch into the 6th inning and you only give up 3 runs, that's exactly what you want, right? Obviously, offensively, they did what they needed to do. They had some big moments. They had some big hits. Tommy goes down. The rumor is it's not going to be super serious. It's something he's been dealing with throughout the course of the year. Took himself out. Watching him on TV and interacting with the guys in the dugout didn't seem like he was overly concerned about it. It's probably more of a precaution thing. Hey, let's take a little break, give you a little rest, see what happens. But we need to get him back in the lineup. Obviously, they play Nicholls State on, is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, and then they got Alabama at home Friday, Saturday, Sunday here in Alex Box.
Sneaky tailgate?
Potential tailgate on Friday. Yes, I like that idea. I gotta make sure my social calendar is free based off my wife. My wife has planned. I don't think we have anything planned Friday night.
Are you in the doghouse for the weekend?
No.
Are you good?
No,
You're
we're
concerned? Good.
No, we're good. We're good.
You got to take a chance every now and again.
No, we're good. I got the okay. We're good to go. But I just wanted to make sure we didn't have anything planned for a long time this weekend. I don't think we do. So I think Friday tailgate could be a thing. What did you see in the game, Jay? What did you like? What did you
The game or the weekend?
The weekend. This weekend. The games. Plural.
I saw the offense really show up. like really show up. Kind of get out in front of things. Make it hard for Ole Miss to kind of keep up. I thought they played well this weekend, man. I thought they played really well as a team. The guys, I say guys, seeing Dylan really get back into it, not like he's ever out of it, but really get back into it is a huge help. Obviously, hopefully, the Tommy news is not going to be a huge issue. Hopefully a couple days of rest or maybe probably the week. I would imagine there's a good chance you probably won't see him tomorrow night. Give him probably the week, maybe up until Friday to kind of get himself right and get back into it. But I thought offensively, them really showing up did a whole bunch. And then obviously Ty coming back in the form. Christian
great.
Little showing up and being huge on Sunday to be able to extend his innings and his work to get to the rest of the bullpen and kind of not have to really expand those guys and like run them thin. I think it was awesome.
I mean, that's the formula right now, right? Like with the bullpen, not saying that they don't have the depth, because I think that you're seeing the depth of the bullpen because you still have capable arms out the pen. You have some guys that are hurt that you want to rely on. But I would say you still have 6 to 7 guys that you have the ability to throw out of the bullpen. But the formula you would imagine is, hey, let our ace on Friday go deep in the game. Hopefully you only have to use one guy out the pen to finish that one out. Then you have a rested pen for Saturday and Sunday. If you can get, now, you can't expect Ty Floyd to go pitch into the ninth every week.
No, you can't. But am I saying this correct? Thatcher didn't throw this weekend, correct? Exactly. I know he was in the pen warming up, but he didn't actually come in. And I guess my point to bringing that up is when you still have guys like that who didn't throw this weekend with that kind of talent, in your mind you're telling yourself, man, if he really turns it on, like we know he can, like he should, that's scary. Because like you said, you can't expect 8 from Ty every week. You can't expect, I won't even say can't expect. I do think that Christian has the ability to do that week in and week out. But once again, those are big outs and big innings that are following that, right? So guys like Thatcher are still going to be a huge part of what they do going forward, whether it's piggybacking on Saturday or Sunday or if it's using in literally the back end of the pen, however it is. But I think a lot of people keep bashing them right now. Like early in the season, it was the bash about, oh, well, they can't hit lefties, and we're not exactly sure how good they are, especially because they've had a couple strikeouts. Now it's, oh, the bullpen's not good, and the bullpen's struggling, but we're not acknowledging the guys that are down right now. We're not acknowledging the guys that are going to be coming back. We're not acknowledging that these young guys are stepping up and getting themselves into it. All that stuff matters, right? Yeah. And we're continuing. A lot of people are continuing to find what's imperfect about a team. Well, there's probably every single team out there is imperfect, but they're finding ways to get things done. Yep. And that is, to me, a huge, huge, huge telltale about what you have in a team and how it's going to fare going forward.
Absolutely. And we're going to get more into that as the show goes on. Obviously, we don't want to leave Ben McDonald. Don't show this man right now. He's not ready, okay? We want to get Ben McDonald ready. He's in the on-deck circle. He's ready to come on the show. We are going to take a 30-second break, get him situated, get him comfortable. We'll be right back. You're watching Mik'd Up. We'll be back to you in 30 seconds. that we were doing the old the Heineken Silver now, which is very good. Listen, can you put the camera over there? So see if you've seen the show.
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Heineken Silver is the new product that Heineken is promoting, right?
All right, thank you.
If you look at it, we had this huge beer tower with all of the cans that they had given us. They had given us 2 cases of beer just to promote it. We're getting obviously some more stuff. And if you watched it, we had 2 of those, and they're boom, really high. If you look at them now, they're not near as high as they were, which goes to tell you that somebody has been drinking some of the beer in the studio, which is a good sign because it shows you that the Heineken Silver is very good. And it is their light beer. It is refreshing. It is 95 calories. It is equivalent, and I don't want to compare brands because Heineken is a sponsor of ours. They are a partner of ours, and I'm not a huge Heineken fan, to be honest with you. But whenever they came here and said, "Hey, you need to try these Heineken Silvers," I was like, "Oh, this is good. This is easy. This is easy to drink." So I started drinking them. Obviously, other people have started drinking them. Thank God that we got some more delivered so that we can continue to have display. But shout out to Heineken for their sponsorship. We appreciate it, and Heineken Silver for being so good. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We were just previewing the conversation that we were about to have about this past weekend. LSU Baseball goes into Oxford, gets the sweep, puts themselves right at the top of the SEC West like everybody anticipated. Our next guest, we're excited to have our next guest, reoccurring guest, fan of the show, Big Ben McDonald, #1 overall pick, also ESPN analyst who called the game on Saturday. And not only did he call the game, before Morgan Wallen canceled his Sunday show, he got to experience the Morgan Wallen experience in Oxford,
He's
which
got
looked
canceled.
Amazing. That's probably why I got canceled. He was too excited.
He also got the experience of Armadillo.
That's it. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
That was last year.
Ben, I appreciate you coming on the show. How was this weekend? Obviously, the Morgan Wallen concert looked electric. We're going to get to baseball in a minute, but tell me about that.
It was great. You go to a lot of concerts, and I'm not a huge concert guy, but a lot of times you show up at a concert and the artist that you're watching doesn't quite sound as good as you hear him on the radio or whatever, but Morgan Wallen was better than what he sounded on the radio to me. Like, he was really, really good. And I hate to say it, but I went out and partied with him on Saturday night for about 3 hours, and that's the reason why he couldn't make the concert there on Sunday.
It's hard. Those Tennessee guys, they can't really drink with the Louisiana guys. I know that.
They just can't hang. Like, he just couldn't. No, I mean, I don't know. I hate it for people that showed up on Sunday. Like, that's too bad. I don't know what happened, man. But I'll be honest, I'm not buying the I lost my voice thing because he sounded perfect on Saturday night. So.
Maybe a little too many libations, but
too many Heineken Silvers.
Yeah, let's get to the game. Obviously, you called the game. Ole Miss is the reigning national champs. Your battery mate, teammate, Mike Bianco is the head coach there. Obviously, he just won the national championship. LSU is the #1 team in the country. They go into Oxford. Ole Miss swept LSU last year in Baton Rouge. LSU goes into Oxford. You can't go in there expecting a sweep, but they've been playing well. You expect to win the series. They go out there and they finish with a sweep. What did you see from, I guess, both teams, but in particular LSU this weekend, that really set them apart to be able to get the sweep?
Well, I mean, obviously, when you run, Skeens out there on Friday nights, you always got a really good shot. And he gave a 3-run homer to Will Furness, and ball left out over the plate. A good swing by Furness, but wasn't much going on offensively for Ole Miss past that. The story for me was Ty Floyd. And I was kind of hard on Ty Floyd in the open when we did the game. And, if LSU is going to get to Omaha and LSU is going to win a national championship like they're favored to do, it's time for Ty Floyd to step up and get going. I mean, he has flashed it throughout his career at times. He flashed it a little bit this year. The truth is, going into this past weekend start, he had an ERA above 6 in the SEC. Yeah. That's just not going to get it for the stuff that he has. Like, Ty Floyd has really good stuff. So I was kind of hard on him in open, saying this is the most important start of his career because LSU needs a #1 and a #2. You got to have 2 studs to play deep in the postseason play to get to Omaha and have a chance to win it. Well, I'll tell you what, he looked better than I've ever seen him in 3 years at LSU. He has had an elite fastball. We know about the high spin rate. He can get it up in the zone and pitch it belt high. But he threw strike one. And he also did something he's not been able to do in previous years. He had a consistent off-speed pitch, too. He threw the breaking ball. He threw the changeup. He was able to keep Ole Miss off of his fastball for the most part. So they're able to create the, hey, I might fish or something in there off speed, and then he used his fastball to do most of his work like he typically does. So big time outing for him. I think he only walked one, had a lot of strikeouts, worked into the ninth inning, and still blowing 96 in the ninth inning, which was impressive for me. So big time start by him. Ole Miss is, look, they've had a few injuries like everybody's had. I don't think anybody's been beat up more than LSU has, but Hunter Elliott was not the Hunter Elliott that we saw pitch Ole Miss to the College World Series and the National Championship, the freshman last year. He comes back this year after going out after his first start of the year. The elbow just, to me, it's not the same. Like his velo was 86, 87, flashed a couple of 90s, but I didn't like what I saw. I hope I'm wrong, but he looks like he's hurt to me. The changeup was a different arm slide. He was really slowing his arm and his body down. It wasn't good. And again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope he bounces back. I hope Ole Miss makes some type of a run. It's about time last year they got it going and made enough of a run to at least get a postseason berth, But Ole Miss is just off a little bit this year. Not to say that the schedule favors them these last 4 games. I looked it up. Ole Miss plays Georgia, Missouri, Auburn, and Alabama. I mean, 4 teams that can beat you, but not your top-tier teams in the SEC. So I wouldn't be shocked if Ole Miss, did win those Final 4 series, made a little bit of noise, but they'd have work to do in the SEC tournament as well.
So you mentioned, obviously, Ty Floyd. You mentioned, obviously, Christian Little threw into the 6th. He went 5 1/3, only walked one guy, which I think that's encouraging. If there was some weak points, if there were some question marks with LSU this year, it has been who's going to step up on the 2nd and 3rd starters and how is the bullpen going to perform. Now, obviously, people are talking about, the depth of the bullpen. I would argue that the depth has been there. You're just relying on some guys that you didn't really expect to rely on at this point in the season. Did the bullpen or the pitching staff, do they do anything to kind of quiet those concerns for you, or is it still to be TBD as the season goes on?
Well, I mean, look, you get Coleman back. That's a big help from the left side, as good as he was a couple years ago. Ackenhausen comes back, and hopefully he can be as sharp as he was early in the year before he went down. But those are 2 left-handed arms. So what are you going to do for your right-handed arms in that bullpen down there? And that's a concern for me. I mean, LSU, I felt like was an odds-on favorite, a no-doubter to get to Omaha. That road's going to be a lot bumpier now because of the bullpen. I mean, let's look at it let's be honest about this. So we use 1 reliever on Friday. Right. We use 1 reliever on Saturday. So your bullpen's as rested as you could possibly pray for going into a Sunday game. Who closes the game for you on Sunday? A kid who did not get 1 rep in fall ball. Yeah. Didn't get on the bump, not even in a squad game. A kid didn't throw 1 bullpen in fall ball because he wasn't going to be needed. A kid that right before the season started, when he had your inner squads, did not throw 1 bullpen, did not get 1 rep. Okay? Right. So now all of a sudden you get to the season and you've lost 3 or 4 guys because Shores is gone. He's done for the year. Yep. Edwards is done for the year. Yep. So that's your top 2 bullpen arms are done. So all of a sudden now we're using a kid that had 0 reps and you had 0 thought of ever using him on the bump this year, and yet he's closing out a game for you on Sunday in the SEC when you've only used 2 relievers. So that right there, if anybody's paying attention, that screams one thing. The bullpen's not in great shape, okay? I heard you guys talk about something that Thatcher Hurd. Thatcher Hurd's a guy for me that, listen, #1 rated high school arm coming out of the state of California. Unbelievable at UCLA last year. It's in the tank for him. Yeah. He needs to figure it out. LSU needs for him to figure it out. You need a big arm sitting at the back end to come in and face a big right-hander in the 8th and the 9th inning in the SEC. In the 8th and 9th inning of a super regional. You need a big right-handed arm back there. If somebody's going to have to step up. It was good to see Bryce Collins not this past weekend, but the weekend before, he got some opportunities. And he looked really good. So if there is a concern for me, it is certainly the bullpen. It's good to get those arms back. LSU needs all the arms they can get right now because of what's happened. But that is the concern. I don't know how bad Tommy White is. Maybe y'all have information on that. It didn't look bad to me, but of course that's a concern. Sounds like, Brady Neal's going to be out another 2 or 3 weeks, is what it sounds like. Paxton Kling is going to be out another couple of weeks, is what it sounds like. So it's a beat up LSU team right now. But the good news is they continue to win.
Ben, we had you on pretty early in the season. You voiced your concerns about where the lineup was and things that you had seen up until that point. To date now, what Jay has been able to get out of the offensive group, is it, in your mind, as expected, as advertised, or has it surpassed what you thought they would be able to kind of accomplish and be able to do at this point in the year?
Well, I mean, it's the number one offense in the country runs per game going into the weekend. I think it's still there. So I'm not going to say that's a huge surprise, but I don't think anybody thought LSU would be number one. But all the 300 D1 schools are out there. So that's really a good thing. It continues to be a team that strikes out a lot, but it continues to be a team that walks a lot. And so the on-base percentage is still high for LSU. There's some guys I think that, I think it's in the tank for Joe Bear, right? Joe Bear hit 18 long ones last year. Right. I mean, I want to see him. Like I'm ready for Joe Bear to start hitting the long ball. He had a pretty good weekend, but I think it's in the tank for him to really get going. Another kid that had a great year, Josh Pearson last year. He had some big moments you guys remember from the left side in SEC play. I think he hit 8 homers last year. I think it's in the tank for him to get going. I don't think you can ask anything more out of Tommy White, Dylan Cruz, Jerry Jones freshman year. It's up and down, but he's still pretty up at 342 and hitting the homers that he's doing. Gavin Dugas is a big part of it. So, yeah, I like the offense. I just think towards the bottom, I'd like to see a couple other guys really kind of get going in more ways than what they're doing right now. But look, there's no complaints for me for the offense. I mean, the offense is as good as I think we could have hoped for, averaging the runs that they're averaging right now. So no complaints there. Still a little bit concerned about the defense. We talked about the defense last time, too. And at the time, they were really fielding it well, right? One of the tops in the nation, tops in the SEC. It feels like that defense is back down just a little bit the last couple weeks. So the defense needs to keep its head above water, continue to make the routine plays. That's going to be a big part of LSU making a deep run as well.
6 weeks through SEC play right now. There's 4 weekends left, pretty much a month left. You're looking at the team with the best road winning percentage in the league right now. What does that tell you about this group of players?
Well, I mean, look, all you got to say is this is how tough the league is, right? Going into play this weekend, LSU's ranked number 1 in the country, but got the 5th best record in the SEC when it comes to SEC play. Now, I'll say that again. 5th best record in SEC play, but ranked number 1 in the entire country.
Consensus one in the country, too.
Yeah, exactly. So that tells you all you need to know about how tough the SEC is. So it's a gritty bunch that's going through some adversity this year with the injuries. There's no doubt about that. And it's the only team in the SEC now after this weekend that has not lost an SEC series. With Arkansas getting swept and Vanderbilt getting swept, LSU is the only team in this bunch that has not lost an SEC series yet. So that tells you all you need to know about LSU. And look, you guys know as well as anybody in this league can jump on you and beat you, but LSU's gotten the hardest part of their schedule out of the way. What they have left, you got Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Georgia. Teams that can beat you, but certainly not top tier teams within the SEC. So I like where LSU is right now. I think they're set up to win, the rest of their series, and hopefully they'll do better than that. So a lot to look forward to. Hopefully some guys will step up on the mound in the bullpen a little bit more. Maybe some guys get hotter at the bottom part of that lineup for LSU. But I like what I'm seeing. But I look at the RPI today like you did, guys, and we got a chance in the SEC to do something that's never been done in any conference, and that's put 5 teams to be national seeds, 5 out of 8. The most we've ever had is 4, and I think the SEC's done that 4 times. But as of today, South Carolina's 1 in the RPI, LSU's 3, Arkansas's 5, Vandy's 7, Florida's 9, and Kentucky is number 2 with the number 1 strength of schedule. So that's 6 teams in the SEC in the top 9 in the RPI right now. So there's a good chance with a strong finish that we could have 5 SEC schools be national seeds, which has never happened before.
I'm glad let's stay with the SEC because I'm glad you said that, right? Because last time we had you on, we talked about how deep the SEC was and how much of a high level of baseball that is played in the SEC, right? You look at last weekend, LSU goes to South Carolina. This was a couple weekends ago. Obviously, they didn't finish the series. They split 1-1. South Carolina sweeps Florida, right? Florida was playing well. South Carolina, I don't think people really didn't know if they were going to be real, or if they were real or not. They sweep Florida. I think they've proven to everybody that they are the real deal. Tennessee was kind of reeling. They go on the road. They stay at home and they sweep Vandy. Georgia sweeps Arkansas. Alabama sweeps Missouri. A&M struggled, but now they're back to 500. They take 2 out of 3 from Kentucky. What have you seen within the SEC, and what has been something that has surprised you to this point in the season? Because we just passed the halfway point.
Well, I mean, that just goes to show you 5 sweeps in one weekend, right? Which hardly ever happens. So you better bring your A game every weekend. If you don't, you're going to get your butt kicked in. That's just how the depth is in the SEC. I think the 2 biggest surprises for me, South Carolina's got to be at the top. And now, it was a preseason ranked team. South Carolina was ranked 19th when the season began. But I don't think anybody thought that they'd be second in the SEC in runs per game and number 1 in pitching. It's a real team. 92 home runs now. I wrote this down in 40 games. Think about this. South Carolina hit 58 home runs last year in 55 games. They've got 92 right now in 40 games. So they're going to more than double their home run output. Now, that's a different show for a different time. The balls are amped.
Yep.
Nobody will ever convince me otherwise. No, you'll never convince me. I know what I see with my eyes. And when the 5'8" guys, and nothing against the 5'8" guys, but when the 5'8" guys start going oppo for home runs again, something's wrong with the balls.
Yep. Ben, we've said the same. Ben,
we
we've said the same thing because we've seen way too many balls hit to center. And boys are just literally not even moving out of the box as if they knew it already. I've never seen that so prevalent in college baseball.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting exit velos and distances. I mean, listen, Jack Caglione is a monster. I'm not going to say the dude's leading the nation in home runs. The jackhammer, right? I love him. But Jackhammer's not stronger than Aaron Judge, and he's not stronger than Carlos Stanton. He's just not.
Right.
But his exit velos are better than theirs right now. So, I mean, that tells you, look, he hit a ball the other day. It was like 121 off the bat. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, Judge and Stanton don't even do that. So something's wrong. I'm not taking anything away from the boys, the kids. I mean, he's having a wonderful year. I'm just saying the balls are different. We started to see it in postseason play last year. We set a record for homers in postseason play last year. That same ball's in play this year. Having said that, South Carolina's as real as they can be. I think they can do it on both sides of the ball. The defense is solid. The other big surprise had to be Tennessee going into this weekend, right? A team that was preseason number 2 and had really faltered. And, I mean, you look at Tennessee, they had lost 4 of their 5 SEC series going into this weekend. So that was a team I was looking at going, man, I knew they were going to be a little bit short hitting-wise, just a little bit younger, but still I thought they'd be really good. And with that pitching staff they had coming back, which was their entire weekend rotation from last year, I'm going, Tennessee's a team to beat, right? I mean, they're one of the ones to beat out there. I don't know what's amiss over there, but listen, we may look back and say, well, this was the weekend. I mean, they swept a very good Vanderbilt team this weekend, so is this the weekend that really gets Tennessee going? We shall see. Because right now, I was concerned going into the weekend going, is Tennessee not even going to make the SEC tournament?
Yeah.
I mean, could they not even get the SEC tournament? Or maybe they sneak in the tournament, have work to do to get in the NCAA tournament. Well, that PowerPoint that they did this weekend, that's going to go a long way for their PowerPoints, and Tennessee could be off and running now.
Ben, Texas A&M started the season ranked in the top 5. They started off they struggled a little bit. They had some injuries to begin the season. Seems like they're kind of catching stride. They're now 9-9 in conference. They take 2 out of 3 from Kentucky, who you just said is number 2 in RPI. I think number 1, I think in strength of schedule. What have you seen from A&M? What's gotten them back on track? My good friend Nolan Cain's over there is doing a really good job of recruiting. So I want to give him some flowers. But what are you seeing over there in College Station for them to be able to turn that around?
Yeah, well, Texas A&M, started off with LSU, then they got Tennessee first couple of weekends. They lose those 2 series, and now they've won 4 series in a row. And they blew through Ole Miss, Auburn, Missouri, and Kentucky. Maybe some teams they probably should beat, right? We'll find out more about them as they got Arkansas and Florida coming. But it's again an older team. Jack Moss, I think, is one of the best hitters in the SEC. I love to watch that kid hit from the left side. Like, he really stays in there on lefties. It's an older team. Of course, they got all the experience going to Omaha last year, too. They got a couple of pitchers back and had a lot of experience, too. So it's a team. You mentioned Nolan Cain. I think Slosh is as good as anybody at coaching and preparing. Nolan Cain's outstanding as well. And so Texas A&M, I think, for me, is a team that's not going anywhere. They're going to be a player in this as well, like a lot of other teams. And and you guys know how it goes. I mean, whoever gets hot at the end and gets a little momentum going, like Ole Miss did last year's team, that could go a long way. But I certainly think, now they have had some injuries, and you mentioned that. I don't know if some of those guys may be coming back in the near future, but I really expect A&M to be a team that we're talking about come postseason play.
I think we're looking at a sprint here towards the end of the year. Looking at LSU's schedule, as you mentioned earlier, seems to be a little easier, a little lighter on the back end, where on the other side of it, South Carolina has a very, very, very tough schedule, much like LSU's schedule was to start the season. In your mind, how do you see this race kind of finishing out at the end of the year?
Well, I think that's a great point, and you look at the standings today. Of course, LSU jumped over Arkansas pretty good, and of course LSU won the series against Arkansas too. That's going to matter too as far as the West standings go. South Carolina 13-4, and of course LSU 12-5. So only one game, separates there. But South Carolina definitely is going to be facing a little bit tougher schedule than LSU. So I think it's a nail biter all the way down to the end. I think Vanderbilt could very well be there too, because their schedule, it gets tougher at the end too. But we'll find out more about Vanderbilt. But I really feel like if LSU averages 2 wins a weekend from here on out, I think they very well could be your SEC champs.
Agreed. And whenever they played South Carolina and that last game got rained out, my biggest concern was that last game is going to end up, because it always ends up that way, that last game that wasn't played is going to end up either mattering. It's going to end up mattering for the last to win the SEC, whether it's the outright or the West or whatever it is. And it seems like that's probably going to come into play.
Yeah, that's the way it always feels. And look, I think we felt like this going in. I think everybody felt like, Vanderbilt was going to be really good. We knew Florida was going to be really good. South Carolina was obviously a surprise, but you knew Arkansas was going to be there. They just keep on winning. I know they were swept this weekend, but Dave Van Horn does a wonderful job, up in Arkansas. And so I felt like that's how it was going to be all year long. And of course, the goal is always to win 2 out of 3 every weekend. You do that, you go 20-10. You expect to be right there in the conversation for SEC champs. I think if LSU does that, I don't think there's a way Arkansas catches them, because LSU does own the tiebreaker against Arkansas. But South Carolina and Vanderbilt, we'll have to see how that all shakes out. And I think Florida had a rough weekend, but they're going to have something to say about this too. But listen, all these teams for me have a little bit of concerns when you go down the list about what's going to happen. Florida's got some concerns in their bullpen too. Caglione walks a lot of guys on Sunday. He makes up for it because he drives in a lot of guys on Sundays too sometimes. But everybody's got a few concerns mixed in there. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all folds out. I think the big picture thing, though, is this. Can LSU position themselves? And they certainly have. You want to be a national seed. To me, you want to win the championship. I know that's important. I know that's a big goal for you, right? And you want to win the SEC tournament. I know that's a big goal, too. But truthfully speaking, to me, the most important thing right now is, can you be a top 8 national seed? Because we know when LSU's at home at the box, like a lot of teams at home, when you can host regionals and super regionals, your chance of going to the College World Series goes way up from there. So that's the number one goal for LSU right now, is to be a national seed. And hopefully you win the SEC West, hopefully you win the SEC and the tournament as well.
Speaking on just the landscape of baseball in general, right? We're sitting here in Baton Rouge. You get to see Paul Skeens, but you also get to see the rest of the staff where things are different. You go around the SEC, you go around the country, and obviously as you take it into professional baseball as well. What is your take on the uptick in velo around the entire landscape of baseball everywhere, and how have we gotten here to where it seems like everybody is throwing absolute petro every pitch that they're out there?
It doesn't seem like it, my man. They are. I'm just gonna tell you, I sit in the press box and do major league games, and I'm not lying to y'all. There's some nights I don't see a fastball below 96.
Yeah,
from anybody.
It's crazy.
And I sit there and go, and I don't want to date myself too bad, but years ago when I was playing, the average big league fastball was 88 miles an hour. Right. And now I look at it and it's 94 and some change for starters, and for relievers it's a tick above that. That's what the average velo is. But I'll say that when you go around the SEC and you look at some of the best arms, it's hard to say that. I guarantee the average fastball in the SEC is 93 right now. Yeah. And people say, well, listen, the guns are different. Yes, I will say this. I do feel like the guns are different from, say, 25 years ago. There was a time when the guns caught our balls crossing home plate and maybe halfway to home plate. Now the gun reads it right out of the hand now. And so you're going to see, but still, that's not making up 4 or 5 miles an hour. That might be making up 2,
Right.
but I don't think it's making up 4 or 5. And so guys are throwing down. Reason for that is everything's max effort now. I mean, that's, we didn't pitch like that. My idea when I took the mound in college and in pro ball was I wanted to finish the game. And so I would cruise along at 95% max effort. And then when I needed to reach back and there was a guy at third, less than 2 out, here's max effort for 4 or 5 pitches to get out of a big jam, right? Now, kids are being taught in college, they're being taught in pro ball, hey, give me everything you've got while you're in the game and we're going to take you out. Because the average American League starter last year pitched 4 2/3 innings. I mean, are you kidding me?
Right.
Like, we were getting warmed up at 4 2/3, right? And so, but it's, hey, give me what you got, and here comes these great bullpen arms. That's what the game is about now. And so I get it, but we're also seeing an alarming amount of arm injuries in the college game, in the high school game, and even in pro ball. And while I can't tell you for sure what it is, I think some of it, or a lot of it, could be the velos we're creating at a young age for some of these kids. Your tendons and ligaments can't. I mean, guys, and you'll see when you start going around with your kids, you probably already do it playing travel ball, but when I went around with my son and we got to be 14, 15, and 16 years old, we go to all these biggest tournaments around. Like, I was amazed that a 14-year-old kid could throw 91, and then I would see 15-year-old kids throwing 93. And I saw a 16-year-old kid hit 97 on the radar gun, and I go, there's no way that these arms can stand up to this type of velo, and I think that's what's happening too. So the good news is, if you see 10 guys go down, 9 are elbows now, which is a good thing because guys are coming back from Tommy John. Not many guys come back from the shoulder deal. So that's the good news for guys getting hurt. But I think it's a lot of reasons. But I think velo is certainly up, and that's where we are right now. It has become stuff over command of the ball. Can you get your stuff over the white part of the plate? Like, I see catches at the big league level, and y'all see too. Catchers are setting up right in the middle of the zone and just say, hey, I know you can't hit this glove right here, but give me your best stuff. I may spin it up here or spin it over here, nasty breaking stuff, but it's become about, can I outstuff the hitter now? And that's what they're doing at the big league level and in colleges. Here's my A game, see if you can hit it,
Yeah, and look, the fastballs aren't straight. They're moving this much, and it's a whole different ball game, and it's something that, look, I didn't play that long ago, but it's different than when it was 3 years ago. It's pretty outrageous.
No, it is. It's a tough time right now for hitters. It really is. And look, we're doing what we can for the hitters, right? We got no shifts anymore.
No doubt.
We're going through the TSA check line now with the sticky stuff. Like, we're shaking them down. We're doing everything we can do right now. We got bigger bases, so we steal a few more bases. And so they're trying to, get the hitters back in this thing a little bit more. And it's showing up this year. The data that I got the other day is we're seeing a few more runs per game, and batting averages are up a little bit, more stolen bases, more action in the game. So it's working.
Well, I want to ask you that because, look, I appreciate your time. I don't want to keep you for much longer, but you brought up the sticky stuff, and I want to ask you this because Max Scherzer's obviously been in the news. He's been, he got ejected, he got suspended, he's appealing a suspension, and was it David Cohn was the one who was showing how the rosin and the sweat and the alcohol works, right? Like, which I've been around baseball, and that's what I see. Obviously, you've been a pitcher, like that's been there forever. Right? What's your take on all that whole situation? Because it seems like Max did everything he was supposed to do, and he still got penalized for it.
Exactly, and I think that's what he used what is legal in the game, what they gave him legally to use in the game, which is a rosin bag and sweat that everybody has, and he created very, very tacky. We saw David Cohn's demonstration the other day. Like, that's as tacky as it gets. He was holding the ball straight up at the bottom of his fingers. I mean, it don't get no more tacky than that. And that's with legal substances. So, I don't know what to say about Major League Baseball. Like, what do they want somebody to do? I mean, if you give me something that's legal, then I'm going to use it to the best of my ability and create an advantage for myself if I can do that. And that's what he did. So I don't see anything illegal about it for them to say, well, it's too sticky. Well, hell, what do you want him to do? I mean, damn, that's what you gave it to him for, right? So I don't understand that, not even for a second. So I hope he wins his appeal because that's just what we – and look, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I used pine tar. We had black sleeves with the Orioles. When I'd go pitch in Detroit or Milwaukee or Baltimore in April and it's 32 degrees outside, you can't feel the ball. I had a little bit of pine tar on my sleeves, and I would be able to feel. Now, we didn't know anything about spin rates then. It was just, it allowed me to throw the ball where I wanted to throw the ball because I could actually feel the ball again. And hitters actually appreciated that.
Absolutely. No. And the overlying vast majority of pitchers are going to use something.
Yes.
And I think that's something that's a very common misconception that people outside of the game don't understand. 95% of pitchers are using something.
I'd rather, as a hitter with everybody, with the uptick in velo and everybody throwing hard, I want you to use something that allows you to control the ball because I don't want to get hit in the head. Now, once you start doing something,
especially with the velos, you're right. Especially with the velos we're creating now, you guys don't want to be in the box. Somebody throwing 98 and it's coming up around your dome.
Right. Yep. The velo and the pitch up in the zone.
Right. And so, look, I saw Ramon Urias with the Orioles that they got hit 97 right in the ear hole, and it was so scary. Thank gosh he's fine. I went for concussion protocol for a couple of days, but he's fine. But it's scary, dude. I'm telling you, these guys are throwing up more than they ever have, and they're throwing up and in, and they're letting the ball go. It's scary in a lot of ways right now. So I get all that, and so I don't know what Major League Baseball, I think they feel like, and we did it because we could just control the ball. Now, going back to the rosin, once it started to warm up, I never used anything because I had rosin and I had sweat back in, and it created enough feel for me to have in the ball where I knew where the ball was going. So I didn't need anything then, and so it is what it is.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I hope, like you said, I hope he wins his appeal. Ben, I appreciate you, as always, coming on the show. We would love to have you on whenever we can get you on next. I know you got the Orioles game. Please stay warm. It's April 24th, and it's still sub-freezing temperatures. I feel bad for you.
Bust out the pine tar.
I do not miss going play up in Detroit at this time of the year. It is miserable, but enjoy.
I'm going up to your old stomping grounds on Wednesday. I'm going up in to meet the club, and we're going to play the Tigers for 4 up in Detroit. It's going to be a little nippy, but it is what it is. So we're going to be all right.
Hopefully they got more. Hopefully they get some more fans they had the other day.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Ben, I appreciate it. Stay warm, and we'll have you on again soon.
All right, guys. Take care. Enjoy it.
Absolutely.
All right, see you.
Boy, those games at this time of the year,
Awful. Tough.
terrible. So bad. Like, they are freezing
First off,
cold.
they don't get any worse for anyone outside of maybe the bullpen and outfielders because you're so not into every pitch. You're so far away from the action. It's tough. It's so bad.
It is April 24th, and temperatures are still in the 30s, like low 30s.
That's
Like,
tough.
that is miserable.
It's rough.
Miserable.
When you get into May and the weather's still really cold, it's a tough start to the year.
Tell you what, Ben's awesome, right? Like, obviously he covers SEC. He loves LSU. That LSU does. Whenever college baseball's over and we start really hitting on big league baseball, he's a great guy. I mean, he's in the middle of it. He calls the Orioles games. He's right in there. Like, he's got a lot of good insight in Major League Baseball. So, Ben's a great guest as always. As always, I appreciate his insight. He said a lot. Listen, the questions he raised about the bullpen, I understand. People are talking about him a lot. I'm not as concerned with the starting pitching as I am with the bullpen. And I don't want to say it's a panic concern, but there is a concern because he made a great point.
Right.
He said, listen, if you got Paul Skeens going, you can only throw one reliever on Friday and you only throw one reliever on Saturday, yeah, you're in a good spot. But then he countered that with, on Sunday, you had a full rested bullpen and you had Gavin Guidry closing the game. I get what he's saying. Now, on the other end of it, I think Gavin has proven that he has the temperament and the ability to go out there and finish those games in the back end of the bullpen.
Well, that's where I'll come in at.
Because Chad Jones kind of did similar
That's
stuff.
where I'll come in at because the tune that you've been hearing a lot of people sing is that LSU's bullpen sucks. That's not true. Are they inexperienced? Is there some people that's being asked to step up and do something you never expected them to be able to do or be in the position to do at this point in the year? Hell yeah. But to say they suck is crazy because, I mean, look at what they're still doing on the win and loss record. Right? So I understand it as a concern, but I guess the phrase that you've been hearing out of people's mouths when they speak about it is a little misguided because that's not what we're seeing here. And as Ben said, someone like Thatcher, at the end of the day, it ain't me, it isn't you, it isn't Ben, it isn't. I think at this point he knows it's time for me to step up. And it just very well might be that his role this year needs to be that guy at the back end of the bullpen that is going to be the matchup guy, the dominant guy against right-handed hitters.
I agree. And they play tomorrow. I'd imagine Thatcher gets to start tomorrow, right? Like, I'd imagine he's on the mound tomorrow for a few innings. Hopefully he figures it out. But maybe moving forward, Christian Little is that Sunday guy, and Thatcher is the big righty out the bullpen. Like, maybe that's the case. And if that's the case, we may need him more in that role than we need him in the starting role right now, right? Like, you don't have that big power righty out the bullpen, like Ben said, anymore. Those guys, they have 2 of those guys, they're both hurt. 3 of those guys hurt, right? Not going to play. Not going to come back. Now, the report was Garrett Edwards was throwing the football around. I don't know what that means at all, but that was the report. Ben says he's out for the year. That has not been confirmed. I believe that Chase, you haven't seen Chase Shore, but it sounds like he's out for the year. I haven't gotten the confirmation, but I'd be willing to bet a lot of money he's done for the year. Garrett Edwards, I have not gotten the confirmation. He's throwing footballs around before the game. Now, football doesn't really put a lot of stress on the UCL, so I'm not sure.
Usually you don't see people who know they're done with the UCL throw anything.
Right.
So we'll, take that for what it's worth.
So we'll see. But I think Thatcher has a shot to be, if he can right the ship, hey, we only need you for 1-2 innings. Let's go out and get it. And look at what Burns is doing right there for Tennessee, right? He struggled a little bit in the starting role. He's got electric stuff. Hey, I need you for 1 or 2 innings and let this thing eat. Go out there and get these guys. And that's what he looked really good this weekend. Maybe we see the same thing from Thatcher. I don't know. I hope so because you need it.
I would imagine that the conversation either is being had or needs to be had in the sense of, like his last few outings, it's been in a sense of we want to kind of see you show us that you're ready to get back that starting role. And I'm not saying that that's been wrong at all. But maybe it seems like right now what this team needs is a conversation to say, hey, we need you to go out there and just absolutely drop every thought you have and straight up compete for 3 to 6 outs. I don't care about anything else. Bring out the dog in you and show me that just go out there and just get it done. And maybe that is what gets Thatcher back to what got him here, honestly.
No doubt. No doubt. But that's like you said, that's the one big question mark. The SEC kind of got battered around this weekend, which is good for LSU. They're the only team that has not lost a series this year. That is a sign of a
consistent squad.
Consistent, strong team, mentally tough team. They go on the road. They've played some of their hardest opponents on the road, right? There he is.
It looks great throwing the football.
It's a tight little quick release. Let's see.
Let's see this thing. It just looped on us. I don't know, but it looks great, but it's good enough.
Yeah, it's tight.
There was a time in LSU football when they'd have been giving him a phone call.
He's throwing
you're being
literally
ridiculous.
a 10-yard. Let me get warm up.
Now you're being a little ridiculous.
Yeah. Anthony Jennings.
We may not have been putting out Heisman winners, but I think you're a little ridiculous where you're going with this.
But look, I don't know what this means.
2.0.
He's not throwing very far. He's not throwing a lot of effort. I don't know what this means at all.
Spins out of his hand.
But we shall see with that. But I just. The SEC is a tough conference. LSU is I think they're in the driver's seat to win the whole thing. All right? They are in the driver's seat to do what they were projected to do. Not predicted, projected. This one's projected.
Projected.
This one's projected. This projections before the year, not predictions. I guess they both work for that one. But they're projected to win.
Projections.
Yeah. The SEC, right? And they are in the position to do that. They are 2 games ahead of Arkansas in the win-loss column.
South Carolina really boned LSU, huh?
South Carolina, but they're playing really well.
No, not really. They're in the same spot. They're both going to play the same amount of games in the season.
So
as of right now, they didn't really screw them.
It's just look. I think that.
Who do you think would have won Game 3?
I think LSU would have won.
I think LSU would have won.
Absolutely. I think after what happened.
I think they thought LSU was going to win Game 3.
Obviously.
Well, they didn't know what was going to happen until after Game 2 ended, right? So the way they did Game 1. They could have rescheduled both games at the same time before Game 2 was even played. You know what I mean? I don't know. But, look, Tennessee is back in the mix. I don't think they're going to win the East, but they're back in the mix of, being a good team. Vanderbilt's right at the top. Florida's still at the top. And obviously South Carolina's at the top. So you have some teams that can go out there and they still have to play other teams. LSU's got the easiest. Alabama is playing good baseball.
They're playing good baseball. And they were a preseason ranked team. They're playing good baseball.
And they're 9-9 in conference.
Not going to be a walk.
I would imagine that they could come out ranked this weekend. I don't know if they've come out with any rankings. Have they? Do you know?
D1 Baseball did.
Are they ranked in D1 baseball? Let's see.
I just put it in the doc because LSU is ranked 1 again because there's been a lot of controversy about USC possibly taking the number 1 spot when that was not the case.
Look, you know what? I'm not as infatuated with the number 1 overall record. Like, I would be okay if South Carolina took that spot or Wake Forest took that spot. Like,
here's
I
my
would be
thing.
okay with that.
Here's my thing. I'm not only in a sense of this LSU team they haven't disappointed you yet all year. And when you basically went there and you split with them and your ace only threw 3 innings, tells me like there's been a head-to-head. It'd be different if South Carolina was doing what they've done so far this year and they haven't played LSU. That'd be a lot more of a conversation to have. But they've played head-to-head and they split, and it was at South Carolina. So for me, it's like I don't know if that's really where it should be.
I agree. I'm just saying as far as like if LSU ends up being number 2 at some point or
I agree because there's at the end of the day you haven't won anything if you're 5 weeks into the SEC schedule and you're still number 1. If that's what you're trying to hang your hat on, you're not in it for the right things anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just saying in the sense of spots being changed and this and that going on, I don't think there's much of a reason to make a change because of how that schedule is played out so far.
I mean, I agree. I'm trying to see if Alabama.
I don't see them ranked anywhere.
They're not ranked. Tennessee got back in the rankings. Alabama is not ranked in Division 1 and D1 from D1 baseball, but I mean at 9-9 in conference. I think they're like 29-12 or something like that.
It's a huge weekend for them.
Yeah, they have the ability. Look, they're going to come in ready to win, trying to do some stuff. I mean, even if they win 1 game here in Baton Rouge,
that's a win for them.
That's a win for them right now. Look, anything can happen. You'd hope that they don't win. They don't take a series from LSU, but I mean, they have.
I mean, if they were to come here and win these series, I would imagine that would push them back into the top 20, not just the top 25, into the top 20.
No doubt. I mean, they're right there. I mean, they'd have a winning record in the West, right? They'd be right there. And honestly, worst case scenario, let's just say they do win the series against LSU this weekend, right? That means LSU now has 7 losses in conference play. So Arkansas would have 7 and LSU would have 7. That's if Arkansas doesn't lose any games this weekend. Alabama's only 2 games back at that point of the West. So my point in saying all of this is they're right there. They're playing good baseball. They're coming in confident. It's not a gimme series. And this is the toughest schedule. This is the toughest opponent we have left on the schedule.
And not just that, too. Like, if we're being honest, if you think about the actual, I guess, compiled season as a whole, when it keeps going through this thing, is there's a month left in play. They're 9-9 right now. If they were to lose this series and or get swept, they're going to leave here with 11 or 12 losses. That means they'll have 3 weekends left, where even if they won all 3 of those weekends, all 3 of those series, that's at least 3 more losses on the schedule, which puts you at 14 losses, which now you're kind of in a limbo spot right here. You're going to make the SEC tournament probably, I would imagine, but it's not exactly putting you where you want to be, right? So them coming here and getting a win and or a series win, it would do huge stuff for them going forward. Because I guarantee you there's conversation in that clubhouse, as there probably has been all year, about them winning the West and possibly winning the SEC.
Absolutely.
This is a huge weekend to tell if they'll have an opportunity to do it or not.
I agree. And look, you saw some things this weekend from LSU that were encouraging, right? And we talked a lot about the pitching. Brady Neal looks like he's going to be out for a few more weeks, right? McDonald just said that. So that means Milazzo is going to be the guy moving forward. Defensively, everybody's happy with him. Offensively, he's scratching out some hits. He's not going to scare you offensively. But when you're going to be able to see Hayden Travinski come back and play a lot more than he has played through the course of this season. Now, he's got some experience. He's had some moments. He had a huge moment this weekend with the walk-off 3-run homer to win the series, or to sweep the series on Sunday, which was unbelievable, and he looked good doing it with the sunglasses.
He looked like Jack Parkman doing it. I loved it.
What a call!
That reminds me of 2011 LSU at Arkansas. Keep the slider down, and walk-off grand slam by their catcher, who was James McCann at the time. Same type of thing. Hangs the slider, which I think he should have gone heater. I would have gone heater there. I'm glad he didn't. Hangs the slider, hooks it around the foul pole. Game-winning 3-run homer. Travinski has been on the team for a while, right? Like, he's been there for, I think this is his 4th year. He's a redshirt junior, I believe. And he came out and said that he is having more fun this year than he's ever had playing baseball. He's happy that they're winning. He loves the guys on the team. And to have a veteran guy, we've talked about this a lot, to have a veteran guy like that on this team that has played a lot at times in his career.
It has a lot of talent.
Has a lot of ability, and him not getting on the field, him being on the bench in the dugout and saying those things tells me a lot about the character of this team. And then when he comes in there in a moment, in a situation, he's ready and he delivers. Like, that's awesome. Like, that's fun. That makes me happy to watch these guys play, because it's just that's what baseball is about. That's what sports are about. That's what you hope for. Give me an opportunity. Let me make the most of my opportunity.
If you watched the show at all last week, we asked Jay, how does he keep guys like Pearson and Joe Bear alert and ready and always working to know when their spots will come? Well, outside of them, we said this also applies to everyone else on the team. I think Travinsky came in and showed you exactly what's going on inside those walls, because for him to, one, do what he did, for him to, two, explain how he feels about this year, saying this is the most fun he's ever had playing baseball, tells you a lot about the in and out, the day-to-day that group has right there. And that's a special feeling, knowing that you have guys like that are, one, always ready, and two, are enjoying every single moment that they're getting to actually be in when it comes to this team. It's actually really cool to see him.
No doubt.
Like I said, it felt like Jack Parkman added a C-flap and just went up top real quick. It's beautiful.
No doubt.
He looked like he came straight off the bench.
I loved it.
He was ready, dude.
No, but I'm just saying, like, sunglasses on, like, fuck it, I'm ready to go.
He was ready. I love that. Like, that's what you do.
All right.
Coach, let's do it.
I'm ready.
About time. Let's go.
Been standing in this tunnel with you. See me gripping this thing.
He went down the line. He probably had the batting gloves on with a bat, just sitting next to Jay, looking at the game like, hey, I'm ready.
Helmet on.
Whenever you're ready, I'm ready, right? All right, here's your moment. Let him go. And he hits the game winner through and homer. I mean, that's unbelievable. But I'm happy for him. He's a great kid, dude. He really is. He's a great dude.
He is.
It's hard to call him a kid. He's so massive.
Yeah, no, he's not a kid. He's a great young man.
Great young man.
Great young man. All right, we're going to take a 1-minute break, get resituated, come back on the backside of this 7 o'clock hour. It is Ask Mikey and Mitch Day. We did not promote it like we should have. That's our fault. We forget sometimes because it used to be on Wednesdays. Now it is on Mondays. Look, if it's too late to ask Mikey and Mitch, you don't want to throw any questions in the chat.
We got 10.
Okay, never mind. Ask Mikey and Mitch if you have.
We can always do more.
You can throw them in there. We'll add them to it. We're gonna take 1-minute break. You're watching Miked Up. We'll be right back. Located on 3723 Government Street. Everybody knows about their Wall of Famous steaks and their hot tamales, but what you may not know is that they're open for lunch every day from 11 to 2. Great people, great environment. Their lunch menu is fire. What's the best thing on the menu?
If you haven't tried it yet, you need to try the burger. Unbelievable. Best burger in town.
Best burger in town. If you're looking for lunch, 11 to 2 at Doe's Eat Place. Again, they're located on 3723 Government Street. Give them a shot. That we were doing the Heineken Silver now, which is very good. Listen, can you put the camera over there? So see if you've seen the show last week, Heineken Silver is the new product that Heineken is promoting, right? If you look at it, we had this huge beer tower with all of the cans that they had given us. They had given us 2 cases of beer just to promote it. We're getting obviously some more stuff. And if you watched it, we had 2 of those, and they're, boom, really high. If you look at them now, they're not near as high as they were, which goes to tell you that somebody has been drinking some of the beer in the studio, which is a good sign because it shows you that the Heineken Silver is very good. And it is their light beer. It is refreshing. It is 95 calories. It is equivalent, and I don't want to compare brands because Heineken is a sponsor of ours. They are a partner of ours, and I'm not a huge Heineken fan, to be honest with you. But whenever they came here and said, hey, you need to try these Heineken Silvers, I was like, oh, this is good. This is easy. It's easy to drink. So I started drinking them. Obviously, other people started drinking them. Thank God that we got some more delivered so that we can continue to have display. But shout out to Heineken for their sponsorship. We appreciate it, and Heineken Silver for being so good. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We are about to start the Ask Mikey and Mitch. Ask Mikey and Mitch is brought to you by our friends at EVCO Development. These are Lloyd's friends. These are our friends. These are great people. These are from Lafayette. Lloyd, go ahead. This is your day. This is your time. This is your moment. One shot.
I feel like there's an Eminem quote there that I could.
It is supposed to be an Eminem song. I thought you were going to go and take on, but you didn't, so I'm just going to let you
I know,
do
yeah. Mom spaghetti already.
Yeah,
something like that. Well, now I feel like I'm just in the opening of 8 Mile when he throws up and then he bombs on set.
Yeah.
Terrible feeling.
Yeah.
Never done it.
Somebody's waiting with their phone right now for you to give them the phone number. They're waiting on it.
Oh, if you want to talk to EVCO Development,
Who are they?
go to their website, EVCO Solutions or EVCO Development. Anything you type in will come up on the screen. Google's a wonderful thing. And if you want to get in contact with them, call, new number, 337-308-6998.
Well, if you didn't know what EVCO Development does, what do they do?
Well, that's what I was about to get to. They're a civil construction company that specializes in new multifamily construction. So, it's baby making season. If you want to plan 9 months in ahead, maybe have it, add on to the house, get some new dirt, a little playroom. Maybe you have to excavate that man cave, which would be a tragedy. You don't want that to happen. So just add on. Get some new dirt, because they specialize in site drainage, site utilities, earthwork, site clearing, house pads, ponds, if you want to be able to just maybe get out the house a little bit with the newborn, go fishing. Get you a little pond installed. Demo work and hurricane cleanup. Hurricane season's never over in Louisiana. Call EVCO Development at 337-308-6998.
You did great.
Ask for Tyler Leday.
You did great. I'm proud of you. That was one of your better ones.
Oh, I mean, I'm a pro.
Good job. Oh,
After you MC
Semi-pro.
a couple of events,
Semi-pro.
I had to speak into the microphone today at court, so.
Yeah. That's a curtain call, I think.
To Ramsey.
I think we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about the end of the show. All right, but it is Ask Mikey and Mitch.
What do they call it? A little pro bono.
Little pro bono.
Pro bono.
Pro bono.
Apple should put that on their phone instead of the real bono.
We're in the
Jesus.
7 o'clock hours. We're Ask Mikey and Mitch. Let's start it. You got them?
I got them. Let's see if they'll go on the screen.
I thought you could put them on the screen.
Let's see. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. All right, first one up. Let's send it. Yes. Ask Eminem. Oh, let me move my can. Does Coleman getting knocked around a little bit cause a hitch in him mentally coming back from the injury, or do you think he'll cruise right past it and be better for it the next outing?
If he is who he thinks he is and who we want him to be, that short memory will come into play and it won't even matter.
I agree. I don't think it's going to matter. I think that he's just getting back. He's getting his sea legs underneath him.
It's outing number 2.
Yeah, he's treating this as like, hey, this is kind of like my get ready for the postseason opportunity.
Tune up.
This is the most he had an up down, which means he pitched, he went down, he came back up the next inning. That was the most he's pitched in a long time. So give him some time. I don't think it's gonna cause much mentally for him.
Did he give up 2 dingers?
Mm-hmm. You got to remember too, it's been almost 400 days since he's been on the bump, actually pitched in the game.
Oh, I have no concern.
No. So what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, if you are over judging yourself or overly hard on yourself, it is going to be really hard for you to be productive in baseball when that is where you've been over the past calendar year.
Speaking of being hard on yourself, which is something that we were witness to with Bear Jones when he came in studio, as a self-admitted average watcher, when he's like, 0 for 3, 0 for, damn, fuck, this is really going downhill quickly. This comes from Lance James. Ask Eminem. How do you guys feel about the development of Bear? There we go. How do you guys feel about the development of Bear Jones? He's been very good while struggling with off-speed pitches. I think the struggles will help him in the long run.
I'll say this. As a freshman, there's always adjustments to make, right? Yeah. And adjusting to the off-speed pitch is one of the biggest ones because you're not used to seeing this high level of velocity. You're not used to seeing this ability of every pitch that you're faced to have a pretty good secondary pitch. He is hitting, 360 or 370, whatever he's hitting throughout the course of the year. He's having a very, very, very good season for anybody, not just a freshman. And I think you've seen his progression throughout the course of the season already, and I think he's only going to continue to get better.
It's so funny because, like, if you watch him and you think, like, oh, man, he struck out a little bit here and there and this and that, yeah, okay, you're right. But for someone who's had the amount of at-bats that he's had to be as young as he is right now and to still be hitting with the average and then also the production numbers that he's hit for, I promise you other teams know that and they fear that.
Yep.
And they feel like I have to make good pitches. Now, if they execute, good for them. If they're not, he's been winning more oftentimes than not. And when he's put up the stat line that he's put up this year, he's a threat, and everyone knows it. It's not I'm hitting 220, but I got 12.
Right.
He's hitting 360, 370 with 12 or 11 or something like that. So I get it. When it's not been good, people have been like, oh, man, the guy. But that presence is something we've kind of spoke about all year. When you're that size and you actually hit for average and now you can also hit for power, it strikes fear in pitchers and other pitching coaches and people's heart. And I'm very okay with everything that he's done this year.
Ask Kentucky
the
what
good
they
and the
think about
bad.
Bear.
The good and the bad, yeah.
Speaking of the 11, that's 4 guys now with double digits?
I think so.
Cruz,
Tommy,
and
Is Beloso creeping in there?
That's my next point. I think he's got 7 or 8.
He had 2 this
I won't be
weekend?
surprised at all if he.
Oh, he's getting there.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
no
going to
doubt.
get there. No doubt.
He had 2 this weekend, right?
So he's got 7, I think. 7 or 8.
It's like they forget about him, too, in the lineup. It's crazy that they just throw him a cookie every now and then. He's like, I'm going to leave real quick. It's always solo shots, which is fine. But
Not always.
But it seems like, this weekend it was. I think he hit 2 solos. But it's just like they, get me over fastball, and Cade will jump on that every chance he gets.
He's having a really good year.
He's having a great year.
Yep.
Happy for the young man.
Absolutely.
I feel like he's older than me, but he's not.
Not close.
Next one up, Robert Plaisall. Ask him if LSU and South Carolina tied at the end of the year, who wins the tiebreaker? I have no idea if this is a dumb question or not.
No, it's a great question. He got me
I believe
stumped.
it goes to the overall win percentage.
I think so, but I don't know for sure. Like I truly don't know what the exact tiebreaker. This might be a very first where you have us both absolutely stumped and we really don't know the answer. So Mikey's actually doing a good job of looking it up while I filibuster here.
Thank you.
So while we're thinking about who I think it may go to overall win percentage, it may go to SEC. Nope, it can't go to SEC win percentage because it would be that. I'm not sure. What do you think, Lloyd?
I think they should have a Sandlot style tournament where they.
I think they do a home run derby.
But not at South Carolina.
No, it's in Birmingham. They just got to show up a day early, and it's a home run derby. Glow ball at night with no lights.
And then they cancel it.
And they can't tell where it lands.
I would love that. I mean, I would love if Major League Baseball was trying to fix some of the problems that they're having with overtime or extra innings. They put a man on second.
No,
let's just go to a shootout, which would be home run derby and Major League Baseball.
I don't know how to do this.
I will say this.
That's a tough task for you.
Yeah, I truly don't know.
I
don't know. That's a hard one.
I think it goes to overall win percentage. Yeah. I think.
That's my best guess.
LSU better stop dropping these midweek games.
I think they have nope. South Carolina's got. I think they got the same amount of losses. South Carolina's got 6. LSU's got 7. So
they didn't want to play.
If they ended today, and they were the number 2 team behind South Carolina, which they're not right now, but if they were, South Carolina would have the tiebreaker. I think. I'm not sure.
But that's today. But if they both play a full schedule without any other cancels, they're both looking at 55 games. So it'll come out to being whoever's got the higher winner percentage.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's what it. All right. Next.
I'm going to go ahead and read this one and not tell you who it's from, but I'm going to let you guess.
Oh, me.
Fonz Ferrella.
No. Ask Eminem who won this week's Booze Cruise Challenge.
I'm going to go with my guy, Jeff.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, so, Jeff, here's the deal. You've won it because of all of the
I think you just
passion,
like beer.
The passion that you send in. The problem is we got told that we cannot send out beer.
We're not sending out beer. It's a care package.
I know, but we're not allowed to do that as sending out any alcohol. That's what we've been told.
Very true.
So I'm just saying, we will.
You meet us at the tailgate.
We need to start signing some stuff and send them out pictures and stuff and do all that. And if you see us at the tailgate and you meet us at the tailgate, we'll give you out some of the beer.
Send your address to the DMs. It'll be fine.
I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear it either.
All right, next.
Mr. Walking Man. Ask him, can we get some insight on typical recovery progression for TJ pitchers as far as pitch mix? Breaking stuff is more stressful on the elbow, so I'm not surprised to see Coleman go fastball heavy.
You want to take this one?
Okay, so I'm not a pitcher. I don't have a real pitching background, but what I can tell you is by the time you are into a game like not like game situation, like a literal game, a real game where the outs matter and all that stuff, you're full go.
Yep.
At that point.
Yep.
So the breaking balls and fastballs and all that stuff, they get worked into those guys' progressions and their bullpens and their flats and their live ABs that they have against guys. But by the time you reach the game, you're full go. So at that point, if need be, you come in and throw 8 straight curveballs. That'll be a thing, and you shouldn't be at a point to where I can't do that mentally and or physically, because then you're not actually ready to go.
And the only thing that they may limit, because it's been such a quick recovery for him, is the amount of innings he pitches consecutively, right? Like he's not going to go and start and throw 7 right now. He's probably on a pitch count.
And the back-to-backs if he's out of the pen, yeah.
Right, but as of right now, as the season progresses and he shows how his arm, he can recover, he doesn't need as much rest, that could change, not the starting part of it, but the innings within a game and the back-to-backs. But as far as like stuff and pitches and
pitch selection,
yeah, like that stuff, if he's in there now, he's available to throw it all.
Yeah.
This one from your guy, Fonz Ferrelli. What's up, fuckers?
You said that like it was the guy from
Super Troopers?
No, well that's Farva, but shit, one of those movies that happens with Stifler.
Oh, American Pie.
Steve Stifler.
You're say you're almost real bad at charades.
Yeah, that was bad.
But he does have a real question.
How are we doing today? We're doing great.
Doing great.
Thanks, Fonzie.
Thanks, Fonz. And then this is his real question, kind of piggybacking off of what we didn't have an answer to. Asking him, did the top seed in the East and West get a game off for the start of the SEC championship? Or like I guess he means the SEC tournament?
I think they do get a bye. I think they do get a bye.
Both?
Yes. I think the number 1 and I think it's the top overall seeds. I don't think it matters about the division or like I'm looking right now from last year. Tennessee didn't play that first game. Neither did A&M. Top 4 seeds get buys.
Okay.
Top 4 seeds get buys.
Regardless of conference? Or like side of the conference?
It's just the overall seeds.
Yep, top 4 seeds. They all get the buys. Yep, that's it.
Take that to the bank.
Yep, that's it. That's the ones.
All right, for our guy Hunter Fournette, ask him, is it just a coincidence that Floyd had his best outing of the year with Travinski behind the plate?
Yes.
I agree.
I think it's just coincidence. I don't think it has anything to do with it. But maybe not. Maybe he's comfortable throwing to him, but I think that it
bigger target maybe.
I think that's just one of those things where it just worked out. I mean, that's what I think.
I think there's a possibility that he may be very comfortable throwing to him, but it's not like we didn't think this all could happen, right? With Ty, like we know the talent's there, we know the ability's there, we know where he's been the last 3 weeks, we know it was time to kind of get out of the rut and go forward. I think.
I am interested to see if they do start Hayden Travinski Saturday this weekend because it's a 7-7 game.
Oh yeah.
So this is a game where like you have the ability to have rest, so that guy can start 2 in a row. Now, that guy who starts Saturday night's not going to start Sunday. It's too quick of a turnaround to start all 3 of those games. So you're going to have one of the other guys start Sunday. So it's going to be interesting to see if Jay goes Milazzo Friday, Travinski Saturday, Milazzo Sunday. But if he goes Milazzo, then I think that Jay thinks it was just a coincidence, not because of the...
Yeah, exactly. Battery mate. And if you listen to Jay Johnson's interview today, he said I've been making a point to get Travinski in there, not because of I wouldn't say his catching prowess, but because of what he's seen at the dish. So he's like, look, I was going to get him in the game on Sunday regardless.
Yeah.
He goes, it just happened to be at that time, like I kind of ran out of time, but it seemed like the perfect opportunity to put him in. You see what happens. He's obviously gaining trust with what Travinski can do at the plate, especially with the guy like Neal out.
And I think he's gained a lot of trust in Travinski because of how his attitude and like how he's handled the entire situation on the bench. Like he's been a guy that you want to have on the team, and like it seems like he's doing everything right.
It would be so easy for him to be malcontent.
I think, and I think he made a good point too. More so than even if Jay really just thinks it was a coincidence or not. There might be a conversation had with Ty asking him that exact thing. Hey, are you really that comfortable throwing to him? Did him being back there have a lot to do? Like, how does that go?
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how this weekend plays out.
Absolutely.
But you did make a good point with it being a 7-7 and then a quick turnaround. He's gonna catch this weekend.
He's gonna catch one of the games.
We just don't know exactly which one.
Yeah. Whoever catches Saturday is not catching Sunday. I believe that.
Yeah.
Next one up, Carson Glenn.
Oh, this is the guy that sent in the my very piss poor stats on MLB The Show.
Oh, is it? We're
Yep.
going to get to that, I'd imagine, at some point today. Ask him, do you move DePault to Joe?
To replace Joe Bear at third?
What? Joe Bear's not playing third?
He did last year. He did whenever Tommy White
came
got
in
out.
Sunday, yeah.
Oh,
He's saying, do you put Napolt there instead of Joe Bear at third while
Napolt's
Tommy White
a
is out? Then
defensive
put
replacement
Pearson
late
at
in
right
the
field
game.
or someone else. I think that you keep Joe Bear in the lineup. I think Joe Bear made a nice play at third on a ball that was hit really hard to him. He made a nice play, got the force out at second base. I think you want his lefty bat. You want his pop in the lineup. I don't think that he's shown you anything at third base. Say, he's not good enough to be able to get through there.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. With the beginning of the season being where it was, I think giving Napolt the opportunity to show if he's ready or not right there was exactly what that was with Tommy being out. I do think now runs come at a premium, and I get it. Premium could mean defensive plays as well. But I do think you give someone like Gilbert who has the thump that he has. Listen, he may save 1 or 2 runs defensively, but he also may drive in 2 or 3 or 4 offensively, right? So if that's the case, I'm going to bet on, or it looks like Jay's betting on, hey, I think his bat's going to mean more than Napolt's glove is going to mean right now, and he may be actually banking on scoring more runs because of the youth and I guess the thinness of the bullpen right now.
I agree.
Next one up, Paul Zarang.
Hopefully Tommy's not out for that long, though.
No, I don't think it's a
I don't
day-to-day
think so.
thing. Won't see him Tuesday, probably see him Friday. Ask him. Lloyd was amazing, but how do you see future starts going if umpires don't give him the top of the strike zone? Also, Mikey, for your allergies, Clear at Costco.
Oh, I love that. Is it just at Costco?
Probably.
I don't know.
It's probably
You're not
there.
Paul,
It's
so-
probably their brand.
I'm not Paul.
You're not Paul. Okay, I'm gonna look it up. Clear. I need him.
This is a great question, by the way.
Great question, and thanks for the help.
So can I start with this?
Yeah,
one?
absolutely.
So this is not a Ty Floyd specific conversation. To me, this is why I have reservations for the type of pitcher that Ty Floyd is, because either when he doesn't have it and or he's not getting those kind of calls at the top of the zone, it becomes very hard for these guys to be successful. And I think we saw a little bit of both over the last 3 weeks when Ty struggled. But to me, that's what I see when I see those type of guys. If they don't have it going or they're not really getting the calls, it makes it hard for them to be able to compete, pitch in and pitch out. And that's what I see in guys like Ty Floyd. So to me, this isn't just about Ty Floyd. It's the guys that throw the top of the zone fastball and mixing breaking balls and stuff off of it.
I agree. I mean, I 100% agree. I think that it's not that you want the umpire to give you the call at the top of the zone. You want him to swing through that pitch anyway, but you want to be able to.
You want the call to be there, because when the call gets there, now you're starting to make the hitters make a decision the next time they see it.
Right.
And that belt and then the top of the belly button becomes it's a bigger space than you think.
It's a great question.
But when it's coming out of the hand, it looks the same.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't know the difference.
Delicious.
Now,
You don't know the difference. Yeah.
if they don't, he's going to have to be able to throw his off-speed pitch like he did this past weekend to be able to get past that if they're a little tighter on the top of the zone. But hopefully he figures something out with those breaking balls because he looked great.
Yeah, like to me, like I think about it and I think, okay, think where your belly button is, the top of your belly button and your belt, right? Now think the middle of your kneecap to that same space under. I feel like hitters can make more of a distinguishment at the bottom of the zone of that pitch when they see it out of the hand than they can at that pitch that's at the top. And when you're not getting that call, it makes it really hard for hitters to say, well, then I need to make a decision and swing at that call when I see it out the hand there. So this is a great question because this is why I have reservations against guys like Ty Floyd, because if they're not getting that, it makes it really hard for them to be able to compete.
In that same vein, another one from our guy Fonz. Hey. Ask him, what was your weak pitch that no matter what you tried, you couldn't see hit? And what was the pitch that you couldn't stay away from? For him, high heat every time.
Fonz, I hated seeing right-handers who could throw cutters to both sides of the plate. Hated it. Hated seeing a right-hander who could backdoor me with a cutter and then could throw a four-seam right off of it and then could throw a four-seam inside and then also throw a cutter inside. Because then you're just guessing.
So for me, it was if you could locate the slider off the plate, like down and away, but like not like a ball down and away.
Ass out.
It's not necessarily ass out. It's just a hard pitch to hit, even if it is a strike, right? So that one was the one I did not like, and the other one that was hard for me to not swing at wasn't necessarily the hot pitch up in the zone. It was the ones that were kind of running in on me, right? The pitch in off the plate, and it was like I wanted to swing at it. I knew I shouldn't swing at it, but it was hard for me not to swing at it. Not either foul it off or hit a ground ball at third baseman. That was not fun.
Or hit it off your thigh.
Oh, yeah. Hit it off my shin bone.
Bounce one in between your legs like a basketball.
Yeah. Every game. Happens every game.
Update the MLB The Show rankings.
Don't!
Slider out.
Wish you could have found the 2017 year.
What do you think
find
you
the
were?
worst one, huh?
Better than that.
You heard me? Hey, you heard me?
If you look at the end of the year of 2017, I was playing every day. I was hitting in August. I was hitting 300.
You
So
hit
like
295.
No, I hit 280.
He pigeonholed your
I
worst
think
one.
at the end of the year, I looked it up on the Wikipedia today. You started off slow all the time.
All the time. No, my rookie year, I ended up 295
Yeah, that's what I was looking
in
at.
2015. Yeah, I always start off slow. Sucks.
Some would say too slow.
Yeah. Some would say too slow. That's why I'm here.
Glad to have you.
Yep. Thanks.
That's how this thing birthed.
Not a great starter.
Sliders out and cutters in. All right, and I think that's a great question to transition into a little bit of the spring game. Hunter Fournette, ask him thoughts on the quarterback's performance in the spring game.
I think they look fine. More than fine. I think they look good. I think that, they obviously, you could see the emphasis on them kind of stretching the field, but at the end of the day, it's a spring game. The defense is very vanilla. They don't show you anything, and that's it. Why are you laughing?
Because I didn't see a damn play for the spring game.
Dude, it was actually entertaining. It was good.
I watched the highlights.
But I wasn't hurt. I heard it wasn't bad.
highlights.
I saw a couple highlights.
I watched the
I didn't
highlights.
really.
There's a 25.
It's the spring game, man. They're just trying to stay healthy and get to the summer.
No, but no decisions are made in the spring game.
No,
this is
not
all for the fans, not for the team.
No, the only thing
It's for the team because they have fun. But like
one of the things, I mean, you get a chance for guys that outside of the quarterback, like you get a chance for guys that you expect to step into significant roles, kind of like see them do it at full speed a little bit, and you get a chance to see young guys who got into the program early kind of get in there and see them at live speed a little bit. But it's about getting to the summer and then into camp.
I'm actually excited to watch see how the linebackers play. Like that's like the one position group that I'm really excited to watch.
Yeah. Spates looked good.
I mean, he should be. He was a first team all Pac-12. Like, he should be good.
How old is he? Like classification?
I think he's a senior.
I think this is his senior year as well.
Yeah.
But
Whit Weeks looked great.
better than his brother. Younger brother's always better.
I mean, not always, but I mean, it seems that way. And then you obviously
When
have
you play up in competition, you get
Perkins.
bullied. Yeah. And Harold Perkins, apparently I'm the only one that watched the game.
That was
You're
a
the
question.
guy. This
That
is
was
you.
a question for Lloyd.
Yeah. Well, ask him and L. I would say Perk looked good in the middle, but there were some times where he got fooled on the RPO in the middle, and they just kind of dumped it over his head a couple times where he was creeping up, and they just plopped it 15 yards over the middle. And that's going to happen. It's the thing with Harold is, well, he was reading reacting. He wanted to play the run first because he's used to just
you have to get
see
used to
ball,
it.
get ball. And now that the fact that he's in charge of more like dropping in zone, you could see that isn't his forte as of yet. And I don't think that's that big of a concern with me because Harold Perkins, if he doesn't fit that qualification,
I would love to see these plays that you're talking about.
I mean, watch the game.
I haven't. You watch.
We'll watch it. We'll go back. We'll pick.
There's a 25-minute cut up on YouTube of every play if you want to watch.
Who cut it up?
Me.
Oh, sorry.
No, you did.
No, I didn't. But that would be about like Perkins in the middle was you could see it wasn't 100% like this is the decision to make because if he doesn't want to be there or if it doesn't work out, let him go do what he does well and put him on the edge. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Dude's still a playmaker. He mollywhopped a couple people tried on like inside zones where he was run stuffing.
There you go.
And then also I said this earlier today on Colada, but Landon Abieta, a little bit of a spark plug, and Kyron Lacey looked like he put on.
Kyron Lacey looked good.
Yeah, obviously he had the highlight of the game.
Back shoulder, one-handed catch.
That he takes for 70.
Yeah.
That he broke 17 tackles on.
Well, they're all trying to get the ball.
Yeah,
it looked like Anthony
trying to
Richardson
hurt
all
their
over
teammates.
again. Yeah.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Oh, Harold Perkins was reaching for the ball for 15 yards.
Well, that's one guy.
Yeah.
Everybody else on the defense.
Well, and the working progress.
When we teach gang tackling, we usually teach all 11 of the ball, and you only punch for the ball. Somebody got to bring him down.
You gotta tackle the guy. Can't score. Anyway, go ahead. Next one. Is that it?
We have one more baseball one, or do you want to continue talking? Obviously, y'all can't talk
We got-
spring game if you didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Here we go. One more from Fonz. Sending in now. Ask him and him. Would you rather win the SEC from the regular season or from Hoover for the SEC tournament?
I mean, regular season.
Regular season. Yeah, definitely.
No,
especially if they're doing what they're doing. Now, look, when it comes to the SEC tournament, there is something to be said about you hitting on all cylinders and playing well because that's a tough tournament to get through. Mm-hmm. But regular season.
And I like the SEC tournament because it's going to be probably the best competition you can face all year.
We go
in one tournament. I would like to, yeah. You're going to have a lot of guys, especially in the bullpen or some guys that you're probably going to have to rely on at some point in the postseason, get real like Omaha type outings in Hoover. And so that's, when you see these guys just step up, I think it'll be encouraging moving into the postseason. But yeah, regular season for me.
And to follow up on a previous question, Paul Zerang only at Costco.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Paul.
Do we have a Costco?
Yes.
You got a card?
Yes.
Must be nice. You get like $1
Fun
slice
fact,
of pizza.
They Instacart that thing too, so I'm gonna have that thing in Instacart to my house.
You might get it. Just get it now.
Oh, it's too late now. They'll have to give it to me tomorrow. It's closed.
Costco closes?
Yes.
Feels like they would have
it
like
may
big...
not be closed right now. I don't know, but all right, next.
That's it?
That's it.
What I did.
Thanks for the Ask Mikey and Mitch. Brought to you by FCO Development. We appreciate that.
What's up,
Again,
fuckers?
Ask Mikey and Mitch is always on Mondays now, no longer Wednesdays. Jay Johnson is now on Wednesdays. We are going to preview big weekend against Alabama. Talk about a little bit about this past weekend.
Don't you look ahead past Nichols now.
Oh, can't look. Nichols beat us in 2009.
And so did UL, and so did Tulane.
Yep.
There's your three.
Did they beat us? Tulane beat us in 2009?
Mm-hmm. Those are your three out-of-conference losses. Or midweek
Oh, you
losses.
looked them up?
Somebody sent them in.
That's the only three we had? I felt like we had way more that year.
Maybe it was in-state.
For how Paul wore us out.
Northwestern, but maybe that was in 2010.
Y'all definitely lost to Northwestern.
Maybe in 2010, though, because they had a lefty throwing 96.
I think
that was in 2010 then. I would have remembered that.
Yeah, 2010.
I think they still have that picture framed somewhere in the SID office.
The guy shoved.
Do you see what happened to UL this weekend? L?
What happened?
Swept by Liberty.
Oof.
Their Friday night guy that came in against LSU gave up, it was either 6 or 8.
Mm-hmm. And went all in.
Happened
Big
to
RPI win against LSU then.
They got that RPI win, though, bro. That's all
Jay
that
talked
matters.
about it. He goes, look, I've been there. I've been a mid-major. I know what it's like to, you want to go and show out in front of, be on TV and put your best foot forward. He goes, those conference games matter, though.
Hey, that lefty that, for Northwestern that beat us.
He got drafted.
Yep. I played against him last year. Guess what I did? Homer.
Left one over there for
96 ain't getting by me this time. No way.
I remember you.
No way.
So you've been waiting on him for years.
I didn't even know it was him until after the fact. And I looked. Someone said his name. I was like, that name sounds familiar. I went on the little roster. I'm like, oh, that's him. What's the Northwestern? It's the guy. Same guy. All right, let's get to the seggies. Ready, Lloyd?
I was looking up one more thing for the seggies because I feel like this is going to be your curtain call. But I will do. God damn it!
I have 2 now.
Okay, I got it. All right. What are we starting off with? Doe's mistake of the day?
Yeah.
Doe's Eat
Mistake
Place.
of the day is brought to you by Doe's Eat Place. I was out there on Saturday night. Great.
Not a mistake.
Not a mistake. It was a huge steak, though. 3 of them for 6 of us. Big old porterhouse. 3 of those babies.
Is that the way to go?
I mean, I didn't. I just was. My father-in-law was the one who ordered it. He said, "We're gonna go
He's
there."
been tight.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Thick as thieves.
No doubt. All right.
Let me get to the bottom of this document. It's 20 pages. Y'all are welcome. Go down to the bottom. Oh, easy one here. Easy one here.
We talked about it with Big Ben a little bit.
A little bit. But mistake of the day. Sorry to all the LSU fans, Ole Miss fans, anybody that traveled to go see Morgan Wallen. Had to cancel a show on Sunday. You hate to see it. A lot of rumors spreading around that the man may have been a little bit turned from the Saturday evening, whether he went to the LSU Ole Miss game, then had a concert, and then there's some rumors that he was out at the library until 4 a.m., that his security lost him and he was asleep on the tour bus. All of these things are alleged. They're all just
alleged.
Out. They're all out.
Nothing's proven.
Nothing's proven. But if I were a country music star, and you're in Mississippi, where they probably just kiss his feet and wash it with their hair, I'd imagine he had himself a pretty good time.
Wash
Saturday.
their hair with his feet?
Like Jesus. You don't remember that in the Bible?
Just
what?
What?
The washing of the feet?
Washing of the feet, but you said washing their hair.
You said
with
wash
the feet.
their hair with his feet.
Well, ipso facto, they used their hair to
You're
wash
talking to
his
me like
feet.
that was like that was not in the Bible.
How do you not know that?
I'm like, what Bible were you reading? Okay, go ahead, man.
All right, that is a mistake. That's tough.
It's a great mistake, though.
He talks a lot about in his songs about him struggling with not drinking anymore. Seems like it happened again. Drank. Obviously,
I feel like if you sing country music, you cannot be sober.
no doubt. But he listen.
Either that or you've had a lot of breakups.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he's
a lot of heartache.
Yeah.
I'm a big Morgan Wallen fan. I think he's great. I like his music. That is tough for people who spent some money on the tickets. I'm sure they obviously got all refunded.
Well, he canceled it 5 minutes before. He had all of the opening
5 minutes before.
All of the opening acts played, and he couldn't shake off the hangover, or his voice wouldn't come back. One of the two. Probably.
At that point, do you just
sell merch?
Lip sync the whole thing?
Like, did you see that guy from the?
No, I think they have it like set up like the. I don't know. Depends. Some of these people have it set up to where. Well, but some of them have it set up to where like they don't actually have the song playing like in the background, like the whole song. Like parts of it is playing.
Yeah, and then stop for the
exactly.
Yeah.
So like if there's a lot of that going on, and I don't know what his live show is like. There's a lot of that going on in the show, or he might not have. He might have a show where you can't do it.
Yeah.
The only reason I would say not a hangover is if you're as wealthy, or if you have this level of partying in you. There's something on that bus that'll fix you.
No doubt, I really do. I mean, but the drinking.
Maybe steers away from that, Lloyd. Jeez.
Well, the drinking and being out that late can lead to losing your voice.
Yeah.
Which happens to me all the time.
All the time. Yeah, you're a proponent of that.
Seen it a time or two.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've felt it. I've been that person.
Yeah.
I didn't have to cancel.
But Jay Mitch is the only one that
I haven't canceled a show because of no voice, though.
Lloyd loves bringing up my personal life. I mean, just unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Let me just,
you're
unbelievable.
That's a great one.
I'm not feeling well.
That's a great one.
Again. How many times
we're moving on.
My life.
We're moving on to our curtain calls. Curtain calls are brought to you by our friends down at Assured Partners.
Shows on Monday.
Everybody's got one?
Saturday.
You got a curtain call?
I don't have a curtain call, but I kind of had a mistake of the day today.
Okay.
Mine was going to go to Draymond. Draymond misses the game, and somehow, game after he misses the game, comes back and still finds a way to get a technical foul in the very next game. When does he learn?
He doesn't.
Doesn't.
That's
I think
his
he
deal.
I think he
That's
just
his
does
deal.
what he wants at this point. He don't really
That's
care.
his deal.
But it was that I'm like, boy, that's tough to get on board right there.
Draymond just, look.
He did play a hell of a game. Defensively.
He's a good player. I just wish he would play sometimes a little more and a little less.
Well, I just would stop acting the way
just
I act.
a little less.
Yeah, I get it. I get that.
That's it.
What's your current call?
Oh, in the same vein, little basketball. LeBron James rarely rarely initiates or reacts, but before Game 3,
Rarely, huh?
no, he usually kind of brushes it off.
What?
Like any sort of interaction or
shit
people
talking.
talking shit to him.
I gotcha.
No, he's very much online. But the video came out of him. I don't know if he's but probably went down. And I just like my guy. And then just to follow it up with the yam after he's like, causing me problems, crazy ass. Do your job. And then the way he finished it with the ball and flush. Like, that man, he made Dylan Brooks go 3 of 13 in the first 18 minutes.
I know there
Dylan
was
Brooks
a game. I don't know if it was
hasn't done anything to stop LeBron either.
Dylan Brooks hasn't done anything in his career yet to be talking as much as he does. I don't know if it was to him or if it was to the other, God, I forget his name. Perimeter shooter, pretty good player on their team, though. But earlier in the year, he
Reeves?
Huh?
Reeves?
No, I'm talking about on the Grizzlies team. He could ball, though.
I like Reeves
he
a
kinda
lot.
I'm surprised I hadn't heard Bo talk about him more, but he could ball. Anyway, there was a game earlier in the year where LeBron straight up told him, hey, this is your last time disrespecting me. I'm tired of this shit. Like, you're going too far. So apparently all they do is talk, and it's a lot of talk. So
I like it. That's part of it. It's part of it.
What did they call Austin Reeves? Country Kobe?
Is that what they call him?
Uh-huh.
He's good, dude.
yeah, he could ball.
He's good.
He's him.
He could ball.
All right. So my curtain call, I have 2 of them. First one is we talked a little bit about Hayden Travinsky. Talked about kind of how his year's gone, kind of his career. Walk-off pinch hit. Not walk-off. Game-winning pinch hit, 3-run homer in the top of the 9th is, one of the better moments of the year so far. Probably going to be his moment of the year so far, depending on whatever happens. That was my main curtain call. But I forgot that Lloyd this morning he was representing himself in the courtroom.
Oh, yes.
Because of he had a ticket because he didn't have his registration. He didn't have a inspection sticker, and he was going 33 and a 25. So this cop just dinged him on all 3 of them, right? Gave him a ticket. Most people just say, I don't have time to go to the courtroom.
33 and a 25?
Yeah, which is pretty asinine.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So most people say, you know what? I don't have time for this. I'm just going to pay it. Pay it, probably not on record, whatever. Lloyd says, no, I got time today. So he calls a mutual friend of ours who gives him some advice. Hey, this is what you need to do. Show up in the courtroom.
I think I know who this is.
And you go, and this is how you do it.
Bet.
He shows up with all the necessary paperwork, shows that he's got his registration, shows that he has an inspection ticker. Judge just, you're good. Waves it off.
Was the cop there?
You're good.
No, cop. He was there the first time, and should I say his name or
No, don't give a cop.
No, not the cop.
No, don't say that.
No, the man that was giving me pro bono help said ask for an extension because chances are the cop won't show up the second time, and so I got it extended. Showed up to the court date ready, all my paraphernalia in order, and cop wasn't there.
I'm not sure that's paraphernalia, but
Yeah.
All of my paraphernalia in the car, all of my stuff that I needed out of the car with me, and I go up there, and the assistant DA reads off the charges, and it's like a laundry list. Obviously, it was she was like, Jesus, this is a bigger docket than I thought. And she's like, do you have proof of all of these things that have been fixed? I'm like, yes, ma'am. Show it to her, and she looks like 33 and a 25, and she goes, you're good. This is dropped. And I was like, that's what I got into it with the cop a little bit whenever he pulled me over. And I was like, I took a step back because obviously he went real cop energy on me. He goes, where I'm leaving from in this neighborhood, there's no sign that denotes the speed limit. And I told him, I was like, I have no idea how fast I'm supposed to be going. I feel like I'm not going very fast. And he goes, puts hands in the bulletproof vest. He goes, hey, buddy. And I said, all right, I'm good. I'm sorry. What do you need? I'm not even arguing this anymore. So that's where we left it. First time I show up to the courthouse, he literally is the first person I see. We walk with each other into the courthouse. And I tell him when he's holding the door open or whatever. I was like, damn, I was really hoping I wouldn't see you here today. And he's like, what? I was like, I'm the reason you're here, and you're the reason I'm here. And he's like, oh, no, I show up to these. And then I got it extended left, didn't tell him.
What a guy.
And didn't show up to this one, did you?
And he did not show up because he knew I'd a couple aces up the sleeve.
So that's my curtain call to you. You
Thank
went out
you.
there
Yeah,
and
that's fire.
you beat the system and you got it waived and you don't have to pay anything.
Nothing.
Proud of you.
Back on the streets.
Good job. I asked him if you were going to represent yourself in court. Now this wasn't like a full on like jury whatever, but like you probably dress accordingly, right? What do you think he was dressed in?
That.
Yep.
That.
I did have somebody while we were in line getting our like.
Love the show.
Yeah. It might be a good day.
Oh my
It was.
goodness.
It's been a great day.
It worked
Been a great
out.
day.
And here's your other curtain call, just because Jay is so elated that it's hard not to show it, because obviously the video of him going nuts in the dugout, but
I don't know.
I mean,
that literally looks like I came I'm trying to go for broke right here.
Listen to Jay. Who do you think?
I don't know.
Put him in.
You should go look at the other patrons in the dugout.
Who'd you compare him to?
Oh, that's Jack Parkman, baby.
He looks exactly
Jack
like
Parkman
Jack
just added a
Parkman.
C flap right there, baby.
that's it.
Great
What
show.
a good show today. Good show today. Thank
Great
y'all for
energy.
tuning in. Great energy. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for following. Thank you for watching. If you like the show, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Which is
Mic'd up. Thanks
good.
for that. I mean, I thought you were like tricking me. Like we changed the name of the whatever. Like and subscribe. Share it. Tell a friend about it. If you don't like watching us or you can't watch us and you're driving or anywhere you get your podcast, again, we appreciate all the love and support. We will be back live in studio 6 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday. We'll have a little Saints talk before the draft happens on Thursday. Hopefully get some guys in, some players in, talk about the weekend, talk about baseball, talk about whatever. And then you'll see us again live Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Potential tailgate. We'll let you know.
And also on Wednesday, formerly on Monday,
Jay Johnson Wednesdays.
the headliner.
Headliner. Jay Johnson Wednesdays coming in
JD
on
Dub.
Wednesday. J-Dub. What'd you say?
J-Dub. What would Jay do? WWJD.
J squared. Coming in on Wednesday.
Happy birthday, belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Enjoy your week. See you again on Wednesday. Watch them Miked Up. Peace.
You were. Now you're not.